The WWE released Braun Strowman, amongst others, leading to questions about the direction of the company. I'm Robin Lundberg here with our wrestling editor, Dan Gartland. And Dan, we've seen a lot of moves from WWE as of late. What do you make of them all?
Yeah, I think we saw the releases right after WrestleMania, and those are not a surprise. That happens every year right after WrestleMania. Programs are done. They're basically starting a new season, and so they say, these are people who we don't need anymore. What's been surprising is this latest round of cuts, which came about a week or two after another big round of cuts in NXT. And so they're really trimming the fat over there in an aggressive way. I think it has a lot to do with that company being publicly owned. You're not operating in the same way that a company like AEW or New Japan is operating. Those are privately held companies. WWE, they're beholden to their shareholders, and that creates a lot of challenges for them. Trying to hit certain profit and revenue targets that they think, I guess, wouldn't be capable of doing otherwise without getting rid of some of these wrestlers.
It's such an iconic brand. What would you say is the overall state or health of the company right now? I've even seen speculation about a possible sale.
Right. So yeah, I was kind of alluding to that a little bit. Like there is speculation that they're kind of juicing the numbers to make it more attractive to a potential buyer by getting rid of a lot of these large expenses. I think that specifically about Strowman, the feeling was that he had signed this really big contract, and that was what made him a target for somebody who was going to be cut because they didn't want to be footing that bill any longer. So it's also these cuts are happening at a time when their television ratings are really slagging. Raw had its lowest rating in history on Monday, and you might say that's it's a holiday, but Raw, they've had shows on holidays before, so it's not just that. The problem is, like, they have these really low TV ratings. People aren't really engaging with the product in the way they once did, and yet they're releasing all these talented performers, and you wonder how is that going to improve the on-screen product.
Now, Braun Strowman could, theoretically improve the on-screen product for the competitor, right? I've seen some wrestling fans say he needs to go to New Japan and become a monster big. I don't know exactly what that means, but there's also the prospect of AEW, and he would instantly be, a sell for them, no?
Right. So that's the other interesting thing about some of these contracts is these people were signed a few years ago before the pandemic, when WWE was really their big business move was, we're going to lock up all of our performers on long-term contracts because we specifically don't want them going to our competitors, specifically AEW. And now clearly that's not a concern for them anymore. I think it's less of a concern that, I mean, Strowman would be a very big star in AEW, but you're less concerned about sort of this mass exodus of WWE people going over to AEW because that roster is getting a little bit crowded. But certainly everybody who was cut yesterday, all very talented. They're all going to have success in other companies. And whether that proves to be a detriment for WWE or not, we'll see.
Yeah, and as we've been talking about, the state of the WWE as a company itself is more important than what's going on with those other companies. Dan, appreciate your time as always.
Sure thing.